Gavin Newsom, if you're listening to this, you're a failure. Mayors are actually some of the most powerful people in the country. The police are responsive to the mayor. The building codes is responsible to the mayor. The homeless, mayors are very, very powerful. So he was mayor of San Francisco. Would you let your son walk the streets of San Francisco unaccompanied at 1 a.m.? No, you wouldn't. I'm sorry. Your son can't walk the streets of the city that you were in.
What happens when a slick, polished politician walks straight into a verbal demolition crew? You don't get a debate. You get a meltdown. California style. Gavin Newsom strolled in with his Hollywood hair, plastic grin, and reheated one-liners. But across from him was Charlie Kirk, swinging like a wrecking ball at a tofu buffet. This wasn't politics. It was demolition in broad daylight. And if you thought Newsom could handle the heat, think again. He showed up to a barbecue, carrying a salad, and watched it go up in flames.
Newsom. The hell?
Oh, no.
The hell is... who's a better actor? I'm not sure. They're both up for an award.
I was watching him on MSNBC. He's got a new hand motion. I was going to text him. It's this. It's got usually it's kind of this, and then he's doing this. He was doing this thing on MSNBC. He's doing this whole thing. Look, he is the fakest person I think I've ever met in my entire life. So synthetic, and honestly, that's very dangerous, incredibly dangerous. He's the type of person that could just stare at you oh yeah, I voted for Trump, and just pass a lie.
Picture this. A man who looks like he belongs in a toothpaste commercial, convinced he was born to save the world. But in reality, he just made brunch more expensive. That's Gavin Newsom, a walking Instagram filter running California, like it's a documentary titled How to Ruin Paradise in 10 Easy Steps. Enter Charlie Kirk, usually ranting into microphones like someone just cut his Wi-Fi, finally facing off against a target shinier than his pomade. And Gavin, let's just say his hair product had more hold than his arguments.
You right now should come out and be like, you know what? The young man who's about to win the state championship in the long jump in female sports, right. that shouldn't happen. You as the governor should step out and say no.
If you're enjoying this takedown, hit that subscribe button, because this gets better. Charlie didn't need theatrics to dismantle Gavin. A couple of pie charts, a calculator that actually works, and a highlight reel of Newsom's failures were enough. What Gavin calls leadership is nothing more than performance art, with a budget bigger than most nations, and results smaller than his approval rating outside coastal yoga studios.
Well, first, understand, being the inaugural guest, it wasn't really even sure what I was going into. Right, because at the front end, it was hey, there'll be no, gotcha questions. It'll just be a discussion, which was largely true. And secondly, when you arrive and they tell you all this stuff, they're oh, his son is a fan and all that. It was so over the top, charm offensive. I was are you going to want to become a member of Turning Point?
Start with the basics. California, once the golden land of sunshine and startups, now feels like a medieval plague zone. While Gavin delivers TED Talks on equity and climate justice, his cities crumble into real-life Oregon Trail reenactments, minus the wagons, plus hepatitis outbreaks. Tent cities, sidewalks covered in what we'll politely call organic matter, and Newsom tweeting about resilience like he's hosting open mic poetry night instead of running a state.
Look, it was really interesting. It was obvious that the governor wants to move to the middle on a lot of the political issues that the Democrat Party has been on the unpopular side of. The one that's making the most headlines, obviously, is biological men in women's sports. And he said he totally agrees with me, and that's a direct quote.
Were you surprised by that?
I was a little taken aback. I anticipated a little bit more of a politician answer. You could kind of see that laced in, but then he just bluntly said, look, I agree with you. It's about fairness.
Take homelessness. Gavin loves announcing billion-dollar plans, but the money goes to consultants, not homes. He spent more than the GDP of some island nations, yet the only thing multiplying faster than the budget is the number of people sleeping on the streets. Build back better. Gavin rewrote it as build equals talk. Back equals tweet. Better equals you're on your own.
In fact, we are course correcting after 4 failed years under Joe Biden and all of the woke stuff and the anti-common sense movement. Gavin Newsom had me on his podcast, and I was shocked all of a sudden where he decided to diverge away from the orthodox opinion in the Democrat Party, which is as simple as saying that it's not fair that a biological man can compete in female.
And crime? California has gone so progressive, even the criminals are confused. Steal under $950? Not a felony. It's a lifestyle. Newsom's justice reform looks like an apology note taped to the door of a looted Walgreens. Retail chains are fleeing faster than tourists who accidentally booked a room in downtown San Francisco. But Gavin? He's too busy rehearsing his next press conference, probably blaming crime on climate change. When it comes to kids, his vision for the future means locking them out of classrooms, lowering standards, and handing out diplomas like participation trophies. California schools have become a tragic game of how low can we go, while Gavin brags about equity as students struggle to read iPad login instructions.
It was a really, really, really interesting interview. What it came off like, it was like Charlie was trying to teach Gavin how to be a human being. Gavin came off like a Hollywood actor, somebody who is disconnected from regular people. And when he is around us, he has to kind of conform, like an alien almost. You're living over there on a whole different planet, and then you come down to this planet to do it with.
Under Gavin's watch, California fell from top tier to total disaster, faster than you can say state income tax. And that tax? Oh, it's progressive, all right. So progressive it stalks anyone making above minimum wage. Newsom's tax policy is a haunted house. You walk in hopeful, you leave screaming with empty pockets. Families, retirees, and tech companies are fleeing California like it's a sinking yacht. But Gavin? He's still on deck giving speeches, claiming the rising water proves his climate plan is working.
It's been a point of pride for you that you didn't do a 4-year degree. And
because I represent most of the country. You guys have become so college credentialed and educated that you guys snobbishly look on the muscular class of this country, the people that kept things afloat and running during COVID. Yeah, I mean, the majority of the country didn't go to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Stanford, Caltech, or Cal Berkeley, right?
Are you arguing for the disestablishment, the end of higher education?
I think it's going to happen no matter what. Am I advocating for the end of the pursuit of glory?
Now let's talk climate. Gavin's supposed specialty. He blames every wildfire on climate change while ignoring basic forest management that could prevent them. Instead of thinning trees, he thins out common sense and points at pickup trucks. These aren't acts of God anymore. They're acts of Gavin. And then comes his presidential fantasy. He denies it, but the hair gel tells the truth. Touring red states, lecturing governors with booming economies. Pretending California isn't bleeding residents. It's all one big audition for his political biopic, The Audacity of Hair.
He does not listen, ever. Maybe, is this the tipping point for him? Did you get the feeling he really wants to change?
I don't know. I think he wants to be president, Sean, more than anything else on the planet. I think you can agree he has more political ambition than almost anybody in the Democrat Party. And I think he understands that the entire country is moving center-right and is accelerating.
And the cherry on top? Gavin still insists California is a model for the nation. Technically, yes, if the model is meant as a giant red warning sign. Want bloated bureaucracy, sky-high housing, broken schools, crime, and endless wildfires? Just follow Gavin's blueprint. That's where Charlie Kirk stepped in, finally saying what millions have been screaming for years. Because while Gavin coasts on cheekbones and climate buzzwords, California burns behind him. From a distance, it's Hollywood pretty, but pull back the curtain and it's chaos.
Is that at a lot of these schools, they're not pursuing what is good, true, and beautiful. It's become the oppression Olympics and a weaponized complaint seminar of people sitting in the circle and finding out who's been offended the most that day.
Some would argue $1 million more in lifetime earnings, more likely to get married, less likely to get divorced, more likely to be civically engaged with college degrees. And you would say
all of those is true. It's just not everyone that goes.
California, once the shining beacon of American dreams, has become Gavin's dystopian sandbox. It's no longer opportunity. It's endless road work, $7 gas, and mission statements longer than Harry Potter that say absolutely nothing. Don't be fooled by the Hollywood smile. behind it is a cold, detached CEO type delivering TED Talks while the state falls a pint. Charlie didn't even have to destroy him. He just read the receipts. Every failed policy lined up like a crime scene. Because Gavin isn't just a failed governor, he's the patron saint of delusional leadership.
Yes, and I mean, same on my show. Anytime Gavin Newsom can come on the show. So, as from a presidential standpoint, I mean, Trump's going to be the nominee, so it's kind of just a waste of time. I do think it's actually healthy to have a conversation, though, and this is why I wish DeSantis would just, right now, see where he's at, drop out, become a great governor, and reassert that he's been a great governor and continue to be. I'll say nothing but positive things. But the national conversation is there are really two Americas being built right now. And California is a hellhole. It's a dystopian.
And if Gavin ever claws his way into the White House, relax. By then, most Californians will already be Texans. Newsom has drained the middle class like clearance racks at Whole Foods. Teachers, nurses, small business owners, they're fleeing, not for politics, but for survival. California has everything: coastline, sunshine, innovation. Yet under Gavin, flushing a toilet feels like a war crime. Droughts, fires, blackouts. The disasters aren't emergencies anymore. They're daily operations. Gavin didn't inherit a crisis. He built one, slapped solar panels on it, and tried to sell it as progress.
No guiding beliefs at all. Just leave the Democrat Party. That's my advice to him. If you really want to be in elected office that bad, just leave the Democrat Party and just go run as like a moderate Republican and just have some sort of like...
Charlie Kirk pointing that out wasn't a gotcha. It was reality therapy. Gavin's playbook is simple. Break everything, blame the public, then host a summit about reimagining what used to work just fine. His buzzwords are endless: sustainable, equitable, inclusive. But behind the curtain, lobbyists and corporate donors. Charlie didn't have to swing hard. Gavin had already destroyed himself. All Kirk did was turn on the flashlight and expose California as America's cautionary tale.
Yeah, I mean, the majority of the country didn't go to Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Stanford, Caltech, or Cal Berkeley, right? Well, first, I mean, understand, being the inaugural guest, it wasn't really even sure what I was going into, right? Because at the front end, it was like, hey, you know, there'll be no, gotcha questions. It'll just be a discussion, which was largely true. And secondly, when you arrive and they tell you all this stuff, they're like, oh, his son is a fan and all that. It was like so over the top, like charm offensive. I was like, are you going to want to become a member of Turning Point?
Gavin struts across the stage like the star of his own biopic. But the real audience, the people living with crime, collapsing schools, and blackouts, are walking out in droves. He governs like an actor reading lobbyist scripts. When the curtain falls, all that's left is wreckage, wrapped in press releases about resilience. That's why Charlie's takedown hit so hard. It stripped the glossy filter off and showed the raw disaster. Tents on sidewalks, families priced out, students left behind, rolling blackouts in the richest state in the nation. Here's the scandal. Gavin doesn't just oversee failure. He packages that failure as progress and is already rehearsing how to sell it to the rest of America. If California is the model, America better wake up fast. So remember this moment, remember the receipts, remember the wreckage, because Gavin Newsom isn't leading a state forward, he's selling collapse as leadership. And thanks to Charlie Kirk, nobody can say they didn't see it coming.